need to be tough? Do you need to be strong? Do you need to be resilient? Do you need to be able to overcome challenges? If you're a coach, a boss, a leader, a parent or a teacher, do you really have a choice? If you have people relying on you to be tough and strong, surely we don't have a choice to sulk, moan, whinge, complain, cry, and be weak. So how do you build resilience? And if you are a teacher, coach, parent, how do you build it in children? And it's something that's been a really big driving force of mine for a very long time now, because I watch so many people sulk, complain, moan, whinge, fail, fall down and stay down. And as an old lady, I can't understand it, and I don't want to understand it, because I've been on this planet a really long time and lots of horrible things happen in the world. You have to be able to handle them. Our kids have to grow up as future adults to be able to handle challenges. So when you chat with the neuroscientists, the behavioural scientists, the psychologists, the psychiatrists, the people that study the brain, it is a physical change inside your brain that makes you tougher and stronger. It's not a gene that you're born with. It's not something that you have no control over. Isn't that exciting? So we get into the habit of being weak and we get into the habit of being strong, and they're both the choice. And I think that's really exciting. So I can't afford to be weak. I'm sure you can't either if you're a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss, or a leader. So we choose to be tough. We choose to be mentally strong. We choose to be optimists. We choose to be solution finders. How do we make it happen? So I can say, oh, look, I want to be strong, but what do I actually have to do to become a strong person? And it's at my house tonight. It's dark, cold, very cold. I've just been out running with my dogs, and I think it was snowing. The rain felt too soft to be rain. And it'd be very easy to look out the window, because I've got a treadmill in my gym in my office. It'd be very easy to look out the window and say, it's raining, it's cold, it's dark, I'm going to stay inside. But the challenge with that, of course, is that if you get into the habit of procrastinating, if you get into the habit of quitting, if you get into the habit of, I don't feel like it, then you become weak. You become mentally weak. If life is tough, if there's a tough challenge to overcome, if it's dark, if it's cold, if there's horrible people, if there's horrible things going on in the world, but you stand strong, mentally tough and strong, physically tough and strong, and you go and do it anyway, is it possible that we upward spiral into the habit of being a resilient person? Now, resilience in the brain is a really interesting thing, because it is a chemical response. If your body thinks you're under threat, it will give you everything that you need to be able to fight the threat. But if your body's under threat and you don't do anything, so you just sit down, or you hide, or you sulk, or you stay inside, or you don't handle the challenge, there is a great expression called, if you don't use it, you lose it. And for me, that's called weak. And that's how we get weak. Because if you don't use it, if you don't use your problem overcoming gene, if you don't use your, I don't feel like doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway gene, and that's technically called discipline. I love that definition. Discipline is doing what you should do, when you should do it, even if you don't feel like it. So the human body, unfortunately, has become weak and frail because we've let it. If it's cold, and I've got a jacket on tonight because it's cold outside, but what's really interesting is about 20 minutes into my sprinting up and down the hills, the jacket came off, and I've got, I think, snow on my face. The dogs are running with me, and I'm not cold anymore. It's really interesting that if you put your body under pressure, your body can handle the pressure. If your body thinks it's going to die, it will give you everything you need to be able to fight the threat, run away from the threat. And I don't like the thought of running away from something. I like to fight. That's why I love martial arts. That's why if you can see in the background in my office in K-Man's indoor training arena. And technically this is just for if it's blowing a gale outside, because we still train outside if it's snowing. We still train outside if it's frosty. Windy, it's difficult because the wind pushes you over. So really that's the only reason we come inside to train, is if the wind's going to blow us over. But even then, it's got to be really strong. And I live in an area in the South Island of New Zealand where we get 150, 200 kilometre hour winds. That's difficult to be outside. But if it's windy and it's not going to blow me over, I still go outside. And the reason for that is I don't want to be weak. If you train your brain to give up, to stop, to I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to do it, it will get weak. You will lose your brain's capacity to be strong. You will become a non-resilient person. I can't afford for that to happen. I've got too many things going on in my life. But most importantly, I have children now who look into my life. Our martial arts club has lots of children, and I want them to see tough, strong, older people. This thing of getting old and getting weak and frail and sick and diseased and depressed and I'm so old I can't do it anymore. We have a great expression in martial arts. You don't get old and stop doing martial arts. You get old because you stop doing martial arts. You just got to keep doing. That's why I keep going outside in the cold. I keep going outside. I'll rephrase this. If you put yourself in a situation where it's tough, you'll get tougher. If you put yourself in a situation where it's tough and then you go, well, I can't handle it, I'm going to stay inside, you get weaker. And I don't want to be that person. How about you? So resilience is very simply building the brain. The neurochemistry of the brain is designed, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is fertilizer for your brain, only pumps through your brain when you put it under pressure. If you overcome a threat, if you get away from the threat, if you fight the threat and kill it, your brain says we've got to be better for next time. So your muscles, your bones, your ligaments, your tendons, your heart, your lungs, your immune system, your digestive system, your endocrine system, your central nervous system, everything has to get tougher and stronger for next time. And it does if you force it to. You only get stronger when you put your body under pressure. If you sook, moan, complain, and stop doing anything, you will lose your body's ability to handle challenges. And that's where I think the world is at the moment. And I want to change that. I can't change the world, but I want to be the person that lives the example of a tough person. There are so many people who, when they're under pressure, they hide inside. They give up. They whinge that it's cold. They complain that it's cold. They complain it's too hot. They complain they're too busy. And their body is just wasting away. And there's that great expression, you're either growing or rotting. And I use it on a regular basis. It's quite a harsh expression, I get that. But it's just how the human body is. If it's not getting stronger, it's getting weaker. You don't stay the same. And we're all getting older. But some people get older and wiser and better, and some people just get older. And the opposite to that, a lot of people get older and weaker and more frail and more depressed and fatter and diseased. And I just don't want that. And I don't want our kids to think that that's what life should be like. So how do we build resilience? You do stuff when you don't feel like it. You go outside when it's cold. You go outside when it's hot. You handle challenges even if you don't feel like it. You don't say, I can't. Your number one word is I can, or even better, how can I? So even if you don't think you can, if you ask your brain, how can I? It will give you everything that you need. Your brain is an incredible mechanism. But if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you want to build resilience, if you want to be mentally tough, you've got to be physically strong, you've got to be physically tough, you've got to be physically fit, you've got to be lean, and you've got to be ready to fight and flight. And your body will always be ready for that unless you let your body waste away, unless you let it rot. So please don't rot, please grow. Please be the person who wants to live your life to the max because you're healthy, fit, strong, mentally tough, and resilient, because you have to be. Live your life to the max. Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max as a tough, strong woman. Yeah, yeah, woohoo!